Imagine that you are a certified nurse's assistant on an emergency room floor at a local hospital. A charge nurse has asked you to take a set of vital signs on an elderly patient who is non-compliant. Your initial response would be to panic, but you realize that that'll only make matters worse. You take a deep breath and head into the room with your stethoscope and your blood pressure cuff. You run through the process smoothly, and when finished, you realize that there was nothing really to be worried about. You report the numbers to the nurse, and she congratulates you on a job well done. Blood pressure is one of the 5 vital signs that can be broken down into several steps, with an end result recording over systolic over diastolic. I will later describe systolic over diastolic and include a demonstration of taking a blood pressure as well as some important facts relating to blood pressure. According to the American Heart Association, blood pressure is the pressure of the blood against the walls of the arteries. Blood pressure generally results from 2 forces. The first force is made by the heart as it pumps blood into the arteries and through the circulatory system, and the second force is the force of the arteries as they resist the blood flow. The evidence of my credibility: in the spring of 2009, I completed a nursing course called Promoting Personal Health, and that enabled me to be able to take vital signs, because that was our test, was to take all the vital signs, including blood pressure, and I passed that successfully. And I will now say the steps of the blood pressure, taking a blood pressure, and then I will demonstrate it. You'll first apply the blood pressure cuff with the arrows facing downward. You'll find the radial pulse, and then you'll pump the cuff up until that pulse is lost. And you note the number at which that stops, and once you note that number, you're going to add 30 to it. So if the number that you found was 100, you'd later pump it up to 130. You're going to deflate the cuff and put the stethoscope on the brachial pulse over here and pump the cuff up to that number. And you're going to slowly let go and deflate it, listening for the first beat, and note the number. As soon as you hear the first beat, that would be your systolic number, which is your top number. And that's the number that represents the pressure when the heart is contracting to pump the blood to the rest of the body. And you can continue deflating until nothing is heard, and when you don't hear anything, you note that number, and that is your diastolic number, the bottom number. And this number represents the pressure when the heart is relaxed between beats. And the final blood pressure reading is your systolic over your diastolic. And a normal blood pressure is considered to be anywhere between 120 over 80 mmHg, or millimeters of mercury. And prehypertension for systolic is anywhere between 120 and 139. And for diastolic, it's between 80 and 89 mmHg. Any blood pressure that reads 140 over 90 or higher is considered your full-blown high blood pressure, high or elevated. Now, I'm going to demonstrate how to take a blood pressure. You want to make sure they're sitting and that their arm is at heart level, and that their feet aren't crossed at all. And put this on so that these arrows are facing downward on the arm. And first you're going to find the radial pulse. Oops. Okay, it stopped at 100, so then I would then inflate it to 130. And what I got about was 110 over 60. So then you'd record that, and 110 is your systolic number, and 160 is your diastolic number. And in conclusion, there's various ways why it is important to get regular blood pressure screenings. These regular screenings could put someone at less risk for cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, and high blood pressure, or aneurysms, and it could prevent, it can be prevented by regular exercise and eating healthy and a healthy diet. It's also called the silent killer, and it's usually detected after it's too late. It doesn't have anything to do with being hyperactive or tense or nervous. A person can still have high blood pressure even if they're a calm, relaxed person. And the only way to know if you have high blood pressure is to get it checked, and doctors recommend that you get it checked done every 2 years or more often if necessary. Thank you.